everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Motorsport Manager with the Phoenix Knights Racing Team. In the last session, things went a little bit awry. Rain in Russia didn't seem to yield as good a result as rain in Portugal. Nonetheless, our spirits are still high and we're looking to bounce back here in Germany for the Munich GP, where it's predicted to be dry, cloudy in the race but no rain, very low tyre wear with hardest compound tyres and 20 laps. So this, as I said at the end of the last session, is probably going to be all about the pace of the car. There's going to be no hidden dramas, no alternative strategies. It's just a case of getting the right tyre on and going as fast as you can. In terms of the car, we have improved the reliability of all of the parts now to 100%, so no more reliability work to do until we start fixing the reliability of our gearboxes, which are soon to be created. So we are now working on the performance of the parts, starting with the brakes, the engine and the suspension. We still have the 7th best car on the grid. If we can sort of pop above Rossetto Corsa before the end of the season, that would be nice. Our suspension was the best on the grid at the start of the season. It's now only the 3rd best. Of course, Scuderia Rossini and Steinman, with their expansive factories, their numerous staff and their tons of coin, they're going to outdevelop us. Especially since we haven't developed a suspension since the end of last season. So it's beginning to make me wonder. The goal was to win the championships next season. There was a 3-season plan. I'm beginning to now doubt whether we can do it next season. I don't think we've got the development power to match the top 2. I think we might be able to surpass Panther, possibly. But I think the top 2, we're going to need some more HQ buildings. That's what I'm thinking. But that's not going to stop us. We're still going to maintain on the path that we had planned, and we'll see where it takes us. And for now, we'll just focus on this season, getting as many points as possible, aiming for 4th place, of course, in the Constructors' Championship. Okay, so enough flim-flam, enough chitty-chatty. It's time to press on with the race. Now, I don't remember if I did this at the back end of the last session off camera or not, but I'll go through it anyway. We have got a new sponsor. We've lost our 10th or above sponsor, and we have replaced it with a 7th or above sponsor. We have finished 7th or above in 3 out of the 4 out of the 5? Or 3 out of the 5 races. You've never qualified 7th or above though, which is a slight issue. But this was the best of a bad bunch of sponsors. Plus it gave us a nice upfront payment. So we're going to have to try and push ourselves that little bit further to reach this objective. But it's good that we're aiming high. Now I think the soft tyre is going to be the tyre for the race here. I really do. So I'm going to go 843. For both drivers, which should give them plenty of soft tyres to use in practice, qualifying and the race. Parts are fit and we're good to go. So as usual, see you at qualifying. Well, the weather forecast was a little bit wrong. The pre-race weather forecast said that practice was going to be sunny, as was qualifying, and it rained for the first sort of 5 minutes of the practice session, which reduced our running time on the dry tyres, which could be an issue. And I'll tell you why very shortly. But Surikov getting a pretty decent lap in there. He was on push on the softest compound tyre, as was Sundin. He was 2/10 quicker, which bodes well for Surikov fans moving into this race. So what was the issue then? We've maxed out our performances for the race and for the qualifying trims. We've maxed out our performance on the soft tyre. The soft tyre is easily going to do 3 stints. easily. Even Sundin can do 7 laps on the soft tyre quite comfortably. So getting him to last for 20 laps between over 3 stints should not be a problem. The problem is going to be the temperature. We're 26 degrees Celsius, which is pretty damn hot, and the soft tyres do get hot very quickly when you push them. In fact, they get hot and overheat after pushing for only 1.5 laps. So we're going to have trouble with tyre heating, and tyre heating is not our chassis' strength. So, with that in mind, it would have been nice to have at our disposal some medium tyre performance. Because it might be a situation where it might be worth actually trying the medium tyre, not for tyre wear purposes, but purely for tyre heating purposes. Harder compounds heating a lot slower than the softer counterparts. But we don't have that option. I thought I maxed out qualifying trim. Okay, obviously not. Disappointing. Weight stripping has been maxed out as far as we're going to push it. So it's going to be a dry qualifying session, we think, as far as we can see. So we'll simulate it and see where we get. Because last time we took qualifying, even in the wet, we didn't do very well compared to the simulated sessions that we had before. Let's see where we go. Ooh, that's not good. 12th and 13th is not good at all. 11th and 13th? Can we get another hot lap in? No. Okay, it's not bad. The sponsor objective obviously has moved higher up, which is why it makes it look like we're a bit further down than usual. It would normally be sat there. So actually, we're a little bit down on sort of 10th and 9th, which is where we have qualified this season with Sirikov, but we're in and around where we usually are, which actually is a little bit disappointing because we have weight stripped our car to the max, pretty much. We have the new engines installed, and we're now increasing the performance of those parts on our car, and there's not really much performance in them. The engines, is a little bit of performance to be gained, but the stock parts that we took forward from last year, there's not a lot of performance in them. We're not far away from their max. So we're almost at the ceiling of our performance already. And we're not even halfway through the season, which is actually a good thing. But it's not a good thing because we're not as far up the field as I was hoping. I was hoping by the time we maxed out our reliability and weight strips, and by the time we got our performance of our parts near to their max, we'd be kind of comfortably up in round about 8th position, displacing Windsor, displacing Kitano, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. They are too obviously developing their car at the same time we're developing ours. So it's just leading me to be a little bit disappointed. Got to admit. Right, let's take a look at the grid then. Espinosa out qualifying Balcazar for a change, which is pretty rare. But it's a Ferrari. Oh, sorry, I've slipped up for the first time here for a long time. It's Scuderia Rossini have locked out the front row with Steinman in 3rd and 4th. Slipping a wee bit. Becker 3rd, Fisher 4th, Harry Chapman 5th, and Sylvander 6th. It's like Noah's Ark. In came the animals 2 by 2. Veracruz 7th for Windsor. De Graaf for Kitano 8th. Of course, he is the one with the qualifying prowess. Lipponen in 9th. And De Wolf in 10th. Now, a couple of people have asked on the comments recently whether or not I've considered signing either De Graaf or Lipponen. Both these guys, of course, very good. We saw them in the last session in more detail, their stats and stuff. And yes, I have considered. They're very good drivers with barely any weaknesses in their armour. But the only thing that puts me off is it's going to cost a lot for them to break their contract to come to us. I think both of them have a couple of years left on their contract, from what I can remember. And it's going to cost us close to $1 million per race in terms of fees. Now, Sundin and Sirikov are both pay drivers, which really, really significantly lowers your race cost. So if we replace Sundin, who's a pay driver, and replace it with one of these two, our race costs per race are going to go from what they are now, 1.5 million, jumping back up to roughly 2 to 2.1 million again, which is not the end of the world, but it's not marvellous. We are building our scouting facility, of course, and when that is unlocked, level 3, when the building is finished in, I think, 3 or 4 weeks' time, that unlocks a load of new drivers that we can't currently see. Some of those may be paid drivers and may be pretty good as well. Plus, we're scouting drivers that we know are good, but we can't yet see their stats because they're based in the Endurance Championship or the GT Series. So there's a load of drivers that we can't yet see who we haven't scouted. So before I make a committing decision on who I'm going to sign to replace Sundin, I want to have all the cards face up on the table. So that's why we're not making any sort of hard and fast decisions yet. But yes, De Graaf has been under consideration, Lipponen has been under consideration, even the likes of Zoe Sharp, who's a damn good driver, but driving in a Thornton, the worst car on the grid, even she's being considered. Would she like to go to a faster car within the championship? Potentially, but no, she doesn't. Rather bizarrely, she's not interested. Now, I'm wondering if that extra 5% qualifying trim performance that we didn't get might have contributed towards our slight lack of qualifying in a higher position. Possibly. Possibly. Anyway, car setups then. Oh, look at this! This wasn't on the cards. This was not on the cards at all. We are facing a variable weather condition race. Would you look at that? I thought we were in for a dry race. What did I say at the start of the session? It's going to be a dry race. It's going to be a sprint. It's going to be all about the pace of the cars. There's going to be no dramas, no alternative strategies. Yeah. How's that working out for you? And the temperatures are a lot cooler than they were for practice and qualifying, which is going to really, really help us now to keep the tyre temps down if we use the soft tyres, if it actually dries out the weather. So what do? We've got 2 completely dry laps, I think. And then the track doesn't get wet really until lap 3. Can we get a big enough gap by using dry tyres for 3 laps, then coming in to change to inters? Inters give us 10 laps. Could make it 9 to be conservative. So if we put the inters on and it starts to get dry round about lap 12 or 13, which we can't see, that's going to cause a bit of havoc. But if we go on the dry for 3 laps, put the inters on, that will take us up to round about lap 12 or 13. If it gets dry then, go back onto the dry tyres and finish the end of the race. So that short 3 lap stint could well put us in a good position later in the race, and of course puts us in a good position for the start of the race because we get a little bit of a sort of a jump on the opposition. But we'd have to get in the pits and get out again in a decent position, and I don't think 3 laps is going to be enough to get the jump on our opponents. I really don't. If it was sort of a bit longer possibly, but I don't think it's enough. I'm tempted to try it though. I really am tempted to try it. With Sundin, have we got anything to lose? Her form is 8. She's in good form. Do we want to screw her over by putting her on an alternative strategy here? I don't think we do. What we're going to do is we're going to play it conservative. We're going to give her max fuel. We're going to give her of course the intermediate tyres. And what we're going to possibly do is just see when this rain is predicted to stop and bring her in accordingly. Whether it's lap 7, 6, whatever it might be, to maximise the time that she can push on these tyres. So Surikov. See, he's a faster driver, but he's not got quite the good form. So if anybody can make this work on a dry set of tyres, really pushing hard to get ahead of the other cars, it would be him. But as I said, he'd have to get like a 15-16 second gap in 2 laps. It's just not feasible. It is just not feasible to get that amount of gap in such a short space of time. Certainly an interesting proposition, but one that we're not going to risk. We're going to play it conservative here. So both drivers on exactly the same strategy for now. We will divert them sort of in race. This is one of those races where you just kind of play it conservative and adapt on the fly. Right. Fingers crossed. I think we're done. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. So here we go. Good to see that everybody is on the same tyre. No alternative strategies. And we're off and racing. Now, we want to be very careful here. We don't want to really overheat these tyres too much because it's bone dry. And we are, of course, on an intermediate tyre. So we'll just see what everyone else is doing. And we'll kind of mirror them. Sundin is down in 15th. She doesn't seem to be coping very well on the wrong tyre here. Surikov is up into 9th. He's doing a better job. She's dropping even further back. I don't think Sundin likes driving around on the wrong tyre. Perhaps we should have put her on the dries. Because she'll have ended up in roughly the same position. Surikov is looking really good here. Coming round the outside of one of the Windsors. It's Veracruz. And one of these guys don't like changeable conditions. I think it was De Graaf. No, it wasn't De Graaf, it was De Wolf. It was De Wolf who doesn't like the changeable conditions. He's down, he's in 10th. You could argue that Sundin doesn't like the variable conditions either because she is struggling in 17th. Perhaps we should have pushed the tyres harder than we did. We put them on push rather than the red. But Sirikov's coping perfectly reasonably well. So I don't know why Sundin can't. Right, engines are still being pushed. Oh wow, it gets wetter. It gets wetter. Round about lap 9, we're going to want to have... Oh, round about lap 9? Hey, it's not... Right, well... If we can get to lap 8, we can put the wets on then. So we want to ensure that we have enough fuel to do this. So what we're going to do, let's see where we are. 5 laps of fuel. Fine, we can still push a little bit more, but Sundin less. Sirikov, oh, that was Sirikov, he just crossed the line. Right, we'll go high and push. High and push. Although, if we continue to push, will we get... Somebody's got a penalty here. Gonzalez has got a penalty. Don't know what for. Won't affect Sirikov, but it'll affect Sundin. Right, we've turned Sirikov's engine down. Just be careful with this fuel. And just be careful now with the tyre wear. People are still pushing pretty hard though. Now they're just beginning to turn it down. Surikov is in 8th. Fuel is still reasonable. We've still got a bit more pushing that we can do. Keep looking at the wrong person. It's Sundin I keep changing this strategy of. Right. Still in 15th. Right, turn that down, turn that down. Ideally we don't want to stack them. What we're going to do here, because the track gets wet right at an awkward time, but it's not going to be wet for any length of time, it's just going to be a short burst. So I think it's just going to be a case of using the inters. That's all we can do. Just use the inters, in which case... Right, let's have a look at Sirikov as he crosses the line. 3.3, still can push. So can Sundin. Okay, so tyre wear's fine. 44% can possibly do 3 more laps. What do we do? Who do we bring in first? We're not going to stack them. We're going to bring somebody in a couple of laps' time. Let me get my bearings here. So if we bring him in a couple of laps' time, does that benefit anybody in particular? If the track dries round about lap 16, then we want to be coming in round about lap 7. We want to be coming in as late as possible to benefit from a long middle stint and then go on the dry tyres as late as possible. So I think that would be the beneficial strategy. So if we bring Surikov in later, with it being the potentially the more beneficial strategy, we'll bring Sundin in first. Now will she do 2 more laps on these tyres? Well, she can now go into overtake mode because she's going to come in sooner. So she's going to do this lap and then 1 more lap. So she can push now to her heart's content. Surikov just has to make his tyres last a little bit longer. He's moving round the inside of De Wolf and he's up into 8th position. But then on the other hand, is that a Rosato Corsa on the move? Potentially. Right, Surikov, he's got can still afford to push a little bit here. Sundin, of course, she's coming at the end of this lap, and she's now going to push the tyres for her in lap, and she's going to go onto the inters again. Fuel, we're just going to max it. She needs to go as long as possible. Parts are fine, and off she tootles. So let's have a look at Surikov. He's in 8th position, looking pretty calm at the moment. I wonder if Sundin's mentoring is rubbing off on him. Right, he's pitting, Lipponen, so is Flores behind us, and we are not. We're going to do 1 more lap. Tyres just may make it for 1 more without being too degraded. We shall take a look at the fuel situation as we cross the line. It seems to me that we can actually go in high mode and not suffer fuel loss, because we've got it in high but we're not really eating through the fuel, which is quite a promising sight. Now do we go wet? I don't think we do, and actually the track doesn't dry, so I just think it's a case of getting in there and just doing 3 interstints now. It's just going to be inters throughout the whole race by the looks of it. Right, so Surikov is going to come in on a set of inters. Going to fuel him up to the max, and we're going to send him out. Okay, so here's Sundin. Stop seems to have gone well. She's in 17th. We're going to put her in high because it doesn't seem to burn through the fuel too badly, and we're going to put her on push on the tyres for a little while to get the temperatures up, and then we'll drop her into neutral. So he's just gone into the red, nothing to be overly concerned with. Just turn down the engine now a little bit. Don't want to run out of fuel. Here we go, coming into the pits is Surikov. Let's see where he comes out when all is said and done. Jacks are done, tyres are done, fuel is going in, no mistakes, and he's out. Where's Sundin? She's well behind. Well behind. Surikov has come out in 9th position. No, he's in 10th. Blanc is yet to pit though, so we'll move up at least 1 position. So we're battling currently with Sylvander. Flores is behind us. We're not really overly concerned with him. We'll put him into push mode. So let's see if we can just hang on to the coattails of Sylvander here. Gonna be tough, but if anyone can do it, Surikov can. He's driving at a 7.3 at the moment. Sundin is having an absolute nightmare of a race. I don't know what's gone wrong with her. I really don't know. Oh, for a start, her tyres are overheating. Oops. Sorry, dear. Wasn't paying attention. Right, the track is now getting very wet. So, if we're going to be on the wrong tyre, will that be detrimental to Sundin once again? We'll have to. I'm going to check her adaptability stat when I get out of here. Veracruz has overtaken Flores and he's now all over the back of Sirikov, and it's only a matter of time before he passes, one feels. At the moment he's right on the gearbox but not making a move, and he's just pulled now to the inside of the next corner. Is he going to do it? No, because now he's on the outside, and in fact he's going to get passed by Flores. So Sirikov doing a good job in keeping them behind for now, and he's going to continue to do a damn good job, hopefully. So he's coming round. Let's just keep going. Catching is one thing, passing is another. He's back on the gearbox. Is he going to make another move? No. Now the track is soaked, which is wet tyre territory. It's only going to be like that for a short while. Look at this. He's now trying to make a move up the inside. Will Sirikov close the door? Yes, he does. This is great defensive driving from the Russian superstar of Phoenix Nights Racing. But this time, is he going to get him? No, he's on the outside. Sirikov is just not letting him past. This is great driving. Absolutely great driving. How much is Veracruz speed? He's been given all power. Look at that. He's pushing his tyres. His engine is in high. He's trying everything to get past. And Sirikov, with his tyres on on neutral, is just chilling out. I'm telling you, his meditation, his newfound religion, his mentoring from Sundin seems to be working wonders. We're now giving him a bit of push on the tyres just to hopefully get a bit of breathing room. There is a train behind him, rather worryingly. Are we slowing everybody down? Gonna give Sundin a little bit of push. Just manage the tyres, manage the fuel, just manage everything. That's all we can do. Keep going. Keep on going. We've got plenty of condition. For the final stint, we might actually be able to use overtake mode. Yep. And then just turn down the tyres. There we go. So Sirikov doing a good job of keeping Veracruz behind him. We've of course fallen away from the Panther. Sylvander, he's gone off into the distance. I think 8th place is out of reach, but a point scoring finish is certainly not. Becker is pitting, and also pitting for repairs, fixing the car whilst in the pits. Right, so Sundin is coming in. I've kept her on for too long again. Veracruz just falling behind a little bit. Right, we need to just make sure that she's got enough. Okay, so she's coming in now, isn't she? Right, we're going to put her on. Might as well just give her the full mashings here. Another set of inters to take her through to the end of the race. Parts are a little bit worse for wear, but nothing major. Alright, so let's see where she comes out after that. So, okay, Sirikov. What we're going to do now, I think, is give him overtake mode. Overtake and push. Give him, just give him power. Just give him the power now. He only has to do potentially one more lap after this. So, just give him as much power as possible to get a bit of breathing room for his next pit stop. Take the pressure off the pit crew. And hopefully come out ahead, because in the past couple of races I've noticed the pit stops seem to have screwed us over a little bit, but hopefully not that won't be the case here. Right, so one more lap. Here we go. Turn him up to attack and overtake, bring him in on inters. That means he's have to put in less fuel because he's one lap less than Sundin. Pit strategy is fine. That's as much as we can do. It's all down to him now from this point forward. He's pushing on his in-lap. Sundin is going to push hard now as long as she can on excess fuel to try and make up some places. It's going to be very difficult for her to get anywhere here. She's in 17th and everybody in front of us pitted. She's had an absolute stonker of a race and I cannot, for the life of me, put my finger on what it is. Something has gone awry with Sundin today. She has been absolutely outclassed by her teammate and I cannot figure out why. It's like they're driving two different cars. Right, come on. Come on. Get him out. Get him out. Yes. That'll do. That'll do. I think. I hope. Right, where are we? Where do we feed out into the mire? Where do we feed out into the mire? Put him on push and high. I'm just giving her as much power as possible. So let's have a look. Where did Vera Cruz? Vera Cruz hasn't pitted yet. Let's take a look at Vera Cruz. Let's have a look at him. His tyres are in red, which means he's losing time. But he is coming in. He's driving on a 9.9 on the form ratings. But don't forget, at the back end of the race, he's got low fitness. Oh no, 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 no. He's going to get out ahead of us. He's going to get out ahead. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Yes! Go on, Surikov. He got past. He got past, but only just. Only just. But we are now once again back in the same situation as we was before the pit stop. So that is... we're going to have to fend him off. Behind Vera Cruz is actually Lipponen. We've got both Windsor cars behind us. What are they doing? They're pushing hard. No! No! No, 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 no! No, 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 no! Come on! Keep him behind! Come on! Defensive drive! Come on! Come on, Surikov, you can still do it again! Defensive driving! Defensive driving at its fight. No! No! Come on! Damn you! How many laps? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. No, 4. Okay, so 4 laps. Right. Oh, man! Damn it! Who is that? That's Vera Cruz. He's the one that's supposed to be the low fitness. Damn Blastation. Damn Blastation. He held him off for so long. Why now? Why now do you let him by? Right, Lipponen, who is actually the faster driver. But he is driving on a 4.1 form. Oh. Whereas Vera Cruz is driving on a 10. He's driving on the edge of his limits. He can't drive any better. He is dialed in. He is on form. There's nothing more that he can possibly do to drag that car around the circuit. That's why he passed, and that's why he's pulling away. It's his form level. Oh, no, 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 no! No, no, no! I keep having to give him overtake mode. Little blastings of overtake just to keep him behind. That's just so tense. We're fighting for 8th position. But every little helps. Every point is potentially vital. Oh God, there's 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. We're still in excess fuel. Still back onto the push for the tyres. We've got the car doing some kind of strangeness. Oh boy, the car is really low condition on several parts because we've been pushing so much during this race. But there's only 1 lap to do. And he's slightly pulling away now. Slightly pulling away. She's got issues with the gearbox. Nothing more we can do with her. She's had a stonker of a race. Right, Sirikov, 1 lap to do. He's got a bit of a gap now to Lipponen. It's unlikely we're going to pass Veracruz. But Sylvander is looking pretty slow. What's the matter with him? Not a clue. Not a clue. Right, we're pushing now. It's the last lap. We're pushing now. Has Sylvander got a problem of some sort that we can't see? Or is just Veracruz that fast that he's caught him up? We are catching. Not anywhere near fast enough, of course. Yeah, we are catching them both. I think he's nursing his car home, Sylvander. Okay, so Sirikov, a damn good, well-fought 8th position, and Sundin hobbling over the line in 13th. I'm baffled. She's driving on good form. Why did she struggle? It was that first stint. She just seemed to have no pace. When we were driving around on inters and the track was dry at the start of the race, she just went backwards. She got stuck behind cars, and from that point on, she just never really looked like getting in the points at all. So it was a strange race of sorts. Inters all the way, which is quite a rare occurrence. It's usually variable. You have a dry stint somewhere in there, but no. It was inters all the way. So let's have a look. They finished in formation. Flying formation. Espinosa finished in first, having qualified in first. Balcazar second, and Harry Chapman made his way up the grid to 3rd position. Rather unfortunately for us, De Graaf once again performing very well. He finishes in 4th, Becker 5th, Sylvander 6th, and of course we saw what happened with the Windsor cars. We were swamped. Veracruz eventually getting past, having the drive of his life, a 10 form, eventually finding a way past Sirikov after Sirikov had held him off for several laps during the second stint. It was a pleasure to see his determination, but eventually succumbed to the faster car. Lipponen couldn't get past, however, so at least we beat one of them. And look at that, Rosato Corsa picking up a point. I'm sure they'll be pleased. Unlike Sundin. So we just missed out on the sponsor objective, unfortunately. 7th place. Didn't get there in qualifying, didn't get there in the race. Therefore, that's not good. And also what's not good is we got outscored by Windsor and we got outscored by Kitano. So we're going to slip further behind in the constructors. We're now 19 points behind Windsor Racing. And we are 15 behind Kitano. I think our optimism is slowly beginning to fade. I think they're just a little bit too good. They've got faster car than us, and they've got decent drivers, so finding it a touch difficult. Scuderia Rossini doing pretty well, and they finished last season fairly strong. I think Steinman won it last season, but Scuderia Rossini had the strong second half. As far as I can remember, they really did pick their game up in the second half of last season, and they seem to have continued that form into this season, and they're flying right now. Yeah, love, we're not in the same league. This is our second season in the World Motorsport Championship. Scuderia Rossini are a well-established team with far much more resources at their disposal. Give us some credit. We're doing a damn good job. Second season in the Championship, and we're mixing it in with some of the more established teams. It's got to be worth something. Right. Rather worryingly, it appears to me that Sirikov has not increased any of his stats. Has he reached his peak? I mean, he is 27. I keep calling him young, but we've had him a couple of seasons now, so 27? Is he young anymore? Even if his stats finished like that, it wouldn't be a catastrophe. They are pretty decent. But you always want more, don't you? You always want more. Right, we lose 1.4 million. Didn't get any of our bonuses. But even that's not too bad. We were losing 1.8 at the start of the season, so we'll take it. Holy smokes! Look who won in the Ardennes. Valdez! First place! And fastest lap. He moves up into second place in the championship. Wow. We're going to keep a close eye on this situation. There I was in the last session, putting him down, languishing down on 9 points. How things turn in a single race. Can he reclaim his title that he won with Phoenix Knights in the European Racing Series? Oh, I'm sure a few people watching out there wouldn't mind seeing him being champion again. Go on, Valdez. Right, there we have it. End of the session. Our gearbox is built and therefore we will build another. The one that we did build was suitable for us to use this season. It's not illegal and it is an improvement on what we've got. So, we'll be giving it to Sundin because she has the better gearbox. You know what, we'll do it now. We'll do it on camera for a change. So gearbox, right, so we'll make another legal one so that we can use it again. So we're going for 1330, 1361, 1371, 13 there, so that's the better one, isn't it? So it's going to take a little bit longer, 5 days to the build time, but better overall performance. And seeing as we can focus on performance with our staff, it makes sense to go for the higher performance max point. So yeah, this will be another gearbox that we can use. So we'll do that, and then the next two that we build will be for next season. So we'll go for the illegal parts to utilise our performance to carry forward. Just making sure we can't put any more components in. Nope, that's fine. So another gearbox on the way. We're going to need every ounce of performance that we can get to try and pass. Oh boy. Yeah, look at that. We've dropped. We have dropped. We had the 6th best car at the start of the season. This graph does appear to have just dropped slightly. And in fact, we are now behind Rosato Corsa. Or have I got that wrong? It is like 11:30 at night, so do forgive me. I think we were already behind Rosato Corsa to start with, weren't we? Yeah, I don't think we've gone backwards. Forget what I'm saying. As I said, it's late, so I'm going to end the session here. Join me next time when we will be in Cape Town. And if you remember rightly, this race last season for us was a disaster. We finished last and second to last, I think. So let's see if we can make amends. See you soon.